Hello, today I'd like to show you how to cover your books without actually putting tape on the books. And here I have plastic wrap. And this plastic wrap I like. I previously wanted to go for the clear vinyl wrap, but I discovered that it makes the books stick together, and so this one doesn't have the same effect. And it actually comes out pretty good. You can still see the writing and everything, but it does make it a little bit cloudier. And the reason I wanted to cover my books was, like, you know, sometimes there's recent books that you can get which just has this beautiful silk cover that you can just feel, but after a while it just gets all broken up and raggedy and you can't feel that silkiness anymore. And so I find it important, if I find the books really good, books that I want to preserve maybe for future generations, because who knows how long these books are going to be in print, I really want to be able to protect them. Oops. Okay. Alright. So I've found a few books so far, and I want to be able to have it really tightly adhered to the book, because previously I had bound up one copy of the book, and the cover was immediately ripped off by a child because it was too loose. And you can't blame the child for that situation, 3-year-old. So I just need to make sure that the cover is very tight and very customized for the book. Now, one of the first books I tried binding here, you can see that there's a small overlap between the side plastic. And what you want to do is have a larger overlap so you can have a greater area for tape, because you don't want to put the tape on the book. And I'm not even sure if the tape I'm using is acid free, and so I want to be very careful and preserve the book so I don't have to get any tape on the book. And in my case, I have to use a little Scotch tape as a temporary way to keep the sides tight, and then I take the Scotch tape off. And so with this one, I'm just going to show you how I measure first. I like to take the roll and use the sides as measurement indicator. Now I'm using a sewing board here, and I want to use the sides, bottom sides, as measurement, because I know if I use this side, I may not have previously cut in a straight line, and so it might not be completely adhering to the line here. So I want to use the bottom side and put my drift down here, and I usually want a distance of about half the book's width. So I sort of estimate this part, and then I use my pencil and draw along the line here. Pencil also has the effect of being able to score the plastic a little, so when you fold it, it's much easier to fold. This was pre-folded. I previously folded it. And after you fold it, you want to press it down really tightly. Because the better folded is, the much better, tighter fit it will be for the book. Alright, so for the top and bottom, I want maybe about the same width as the sides, so that we have a good amount of space for the tape. This is not necessary. I just want to be sure where my book is. Here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. I really love these big sewing rulers. They're huge. That way you can be pretty sure of a continuous line. And I use like a marker, very thin marker, to draw this line because I want to be able to clearly see it when I'm going to cut. Usually these kind of markers, I try to look for one where you can just rub off with your fingers. Obviously this is not the way you want to deal with really antique books. I do wonder how people deal with antique books. That'd be interesting to learn. Probably much more expensive equipment. Okay. So here, I'm going to tuck this side into the fold I made. And take a little Scotch tape. Small amount as possible. Just put it in the middle of the page so it will hold there. So it'll hold here. Because now I'm going to fold this over. And at each point I want to make sure it is a tight fit. This is the better time to score this side because you have tried to create as tight a fit as possible. All the way down and really tight. Okay. Put it in. Alright. And then take another piece of Scotch tape. Yeah, I'm really very much of a klutz. Well, I always believed I was. And that has made me been sloppy in my work usually. But I decided that that does not need to be the case. Especially if I'm working with something I really consider valuable. In these cases, my books. So here, I've tucked them both in, and now I'm just gonna cut along the corner here. Make a cut like this. So it's not going to be a direct triangular cut, but a cut like this. And then I'm gonna cut off this inside flap. So there's no double layering here. I want to cut as close as possible without cutting on the page of the book. And this I actually want to do with some of the library books that we get here, because apparently the library books here in Taiwan and Kaohsiung and Taipei at least, they don't have funding for book covers, which I just find so sad, because there's a lot of really brilliant, beautiful old books and children's books that are not available for sale anywhere anymore, and that are just in complete tatters, and I don't think the library will be able to replace them when they've completely fallen apart. The cutting of the flap here. So we have this. Yeah, and I looked online, and apparently there are some people who do that, and the librarians don't seem to mind. So as long as I'm able to cover the book without putting tape on the book itself, I am not doing something illegal. So with the slits on the sides, this side, I like to do a diagonal cut. I can just lift it here, like this, and then cut it off. And sometimes I want to fix it a little. See, if I cut it closer on the side of the binding, then when I fold it over, there might be some overlap, and that will decrease the closeness. And so sometimes I want to cut it a little bit over closer to the cover. So I'm going to fix this now. Fold it back. It's much easier to cut. Now, I can fold this over here. And when I'm folding this over here, I have to make sure there's as little space as possible here. Take some tape. for the other side. Fold it over. Hook it close. Pinch it. Now I can remove the scotch tape very carefully. Piano lessons haven't seemed to help make my fingers more dexterous. I've seen people with much larger fingers than I have, and she has like beautiful dexterity with her fingers and beautiful finger strength. And I think it might be congenital because her brother has the same thing, large hands, but beautiful finger strength. And so it's just something I have to train myself in. So now I have this, and I want to check it again to make sure that there's it's not too tight, it's not loose at all, and so there's no space there. And then you just feel like you've done a good job.